Designed by the Horten brothers in Germany, could the Flying Wing GO229 have changed the course of the war? I don't know about that. What I do know is I've got one to build right here on Gary's stuff. Hi there, I'm Gary. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today, I'm looking at the box of the Horten GO229 Flying Wing jet fighter in 1/72nd scale from Revell. Now, if you like the video, and I hope you do, you may consider supporting the channel. Best way to do that for free is to subscribe to it. And if you also hit the bell, you'll be notified of all my future content as it's published. And anything you see on my channel that you like, please do remember, give it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. And if you do want to make a more concrete contribution, links to all my online partner programs are in the information box below. Okay, let's make a start and have a look at this Horten GO229 jet fighter in 1/72nd scale from Revell. Here's the box of the Horten Go 229. Nice piece of box art on the front here. 1/72nd scale, which is cool. Product code 04312. The length of the kit when made is 10.5 centimeters and the span is 23.2 centimeters. Box artwork, by the way, a Decals. It's nice that they actually give a proper credit to the box artist. I think that's a very, very good thing Revell has always done. Okay, on the back, there's a whole list of other things that were available at the time. And Antonov 124, that's interesting. What other products Revell do, and the description of the skill levels, what they all mean. Mainly, it's how many parts they are, and a bit more demanding and stuff like that. This is a skill level 3 apparently, so more demanding models with up to 100 parts. There we go, it's more demanding. On this long side, it's a description of the aircraft, about the history of the Horten brothers and so on and so forth, in several languages, 4 languages. And as it says here, unassembled plastic. They're aiming it at ages 10 to adult, so not tiny pieces, but still got to be some supervision. There are some colours that it's suggesting here, which are in Revell's own codes here. So white, light blue, grey, and dust grey. It says some of the features: recessed panel lines with details, landing gear assembly, up or down. Nothing major about that. Detailed undercarriage, good. Detailed cockpit, venturiant cannon, yes. The 230mm cannon, and front and jet nozzle area that you can see, and decals for 2 versions. The ends are just basically a reprise of the name, scale, product code. Here you can see skill level 3 and the box art, and the same at the other end. Right, let's see what's inside the box. It's a side opening box. I really don't like these side opening boxes terribly much, because it's a lot easier. I think it's a lot easier if you've part made something. This would be different because it's just flat. If you part made something, they're difficult to hold in a box like this. So what we have in here are a box with some parts and the decals. We have an instruction sheet here, and we have a separate set, an aftermarket set of paint masks for it, because I always like to get a set of paint masks if I can. So these ones are from KV models, for example. Let's have a look at all these parts in a bit more detail. Now, Revell don't label the frames as such, but here's the first frame, the top and bottom of the fuselage, the main armament, and bits of the engine, exhaust cones and intake fans. This second frame has the nose of the aircraft. It has the undercarriage, the interiors of the bay, gear bay, and bits and pieces of the interior of the cockpit as well as the cockpit seat instrument panel and some of the structural parts as well. The wings, it looks a bit as if these have come off the frame, although they weren't part of the frame anyway originally, because the numbers are 29, 27. These are from two different kits, so that goes over there, and that I think would have gone over there. Yeah, it looks like these are bits from two different kits. However, they all go together to make the two wings, top and bottom surfaces of the two wings. And then we have the canopy and windshield. Very small windshield and quite extended canopy. If we have a look at the plastic close up, it looks pretty good for a 2006 or so moulding. Maybe a bit older. There's a little bits of flow marking around some of these channels, but you know what? That actually looks not bad. The scribing of the panel lines is clean enough, and sort of basic riveting. On this side, these bits seem to be sort of slightly raised. I guess that's like to indicate a panel sitting on top of another panel. But they look fine. They're absolutely fine. This part here is the wheel well, main wheel well as well. Very tiniest little bits of flash now and again, but really not very much at all. The guns you can see here seem to be pretty well modelled. They're not massively detailed, but you know, good enough. The little DF aerial is very nice indeed. I mean, this is quite a small part. This is the 0.5mm diameter pencil leads. This is like less than 0.5mm wide, and it's very, very cleanly moulded, I have to say. And there's the inlet faces of the engine, the inlet fans of the engine. Wings, again, the detail is okay. It's there's not going to be much riveting on this because these would have been quite clean. The top surfaces certainly would have been very clean. Flying wings tend to have very, very clean surfaces. I don't know if they necessarily have to have laminar flow, but they really want to minimise any nonsense over the top surface. So there we go. Yeah, they look okay. The moulding straight onto the end of the tip, that's a bit annoying, to be honest, but you know, these are old moulds enough. And oh, here we go. Here's the thing. Revell, copyright 1994. So that's when this was made. Originally, the tooling was made in 94, before it was relaunched a few years later. And again, things that are very fine detail in the undercarriage is pretty well done. There's no flash on these parts, but that is going to be a pain to get that off cleanly without snapping this or this part here. That's going to be a bit of a challenge, I have to say. Otherwise, all the bits and pieces look good. Got a sort of spindly thing. The gear for this really. It's the rudder pedals there, upside down, and the nose wheel. Is this nose wheel? Maybe that's for nose wheel. I think the nose wheel was enormous on this thing, and the two main wheels were somewhat smaller. There you go. There they are. Smaller main wheels, which is quite strange. And then there's the single piece nose, single piece moulding for the nose, which is quite nice to have that. So it's all, you have to worry about seams on that little bit. It's actually the most exposed part in a way. Tiny little part, bit of flash there on the inner edge of the framing for the canopy, but that's nothing to worry about. The decal sheet was reprinted in 2006, and it was printed in Italy. I don't know which of the manufacturers did it. It doesn't look like Cartograph for one or two reasons, mainly the width of the carrier film outside of the actual decal, but still, there's some very, very fine printers in Italy for decals, and these are nice and sharp, and the colours are excellent. Let's have a bit more of a closer look to see what else is in there. Again, it's the instrument panel. It's probably authentically coloured, but very difficult to see as an instrument panel. There's no detail at all on the part for the instrument panel, so this is your choice, or go aftermarket. The painted figures on there are not too bad. Registration's okay, it's okay. The markings are good. Let's have a look at these. Yeah, you can see there's a problem here is you can see the numbering on the triangle. It's not supposed to be right in the middle of the triangle, so it's like it's 0.5 millimeter wide. It's not 0.5 millimeter out. It's probably like 0.2 of a millimeter out, which is fine because they'll look very, very small. We won't notice them. But when you're looking at in detail at things like that, that's the sort of thing you notice, that bits are not central because the registration is out slightly, which must mean some of the black registration here might be a little bit, doesn't look too bad. It's strange that it's just on those markings. I don't know if there's, no, that looks okay. Everything else looks fine. We can see the marking just not absolutely central. It's nitpicking because you'll not notice this. This is 1/72. You won't notice any of this anyway. Otherwise, you know, they're pretty good. Nicht betreten. You can just try and catch a light. You can see that the carrier feels just that little bit wider than the decal, to a degree, slightly, perhaps a little bit more than maybe modern cartograph would be. But you know, for 2006, that's actually not bad at all. You'll have to watch this big area here, because all of that's deckled and all of that's going to be able to trap air and silver, so we might have a bit of a problem with that one later on. The instructions are, you know, fairly simple for older Revell. There's a photo of a built model in black and white. It's a 2006 reprinting. On this side in German, and then in this side in English, there's a history of the Horten 9, the Goethe 229, and technical data here as well. Inside the front page, there's some general instructions about making sure to check things fit, being careful with glues and stuff like that, what other things you may need to do, clean the plastic parts before you actually do things. Yeah, all those things are pretty standard decal instructions. Here there's a description of the symbols and what they all mean, colours that are used in the instructions and how to make them. A lot of these are German colours. I think subsequently they may well have come out with the German RLM colours, but here, you know, got to mix to get their accuracy, what they think is accurate. Got to mix 3 colours, and that is a bit of a pain in the backside. So I suspect, I don't know whether that's dark green, that's grey, dust grey, and a reddish brown thing. So that's, yeah, one of the paler grey RLM colours. The blue for the underside, some leathery colours in there for interiors, and so on and so forth. I would just get RLM colours and do it. Like, remember, this is a what if kit, so you can pretty much do what you like anyway. So there are the frames and what there should be, and then the instructions. Instructions look okay. They're fairly straightforward. It's a simple set view, really, and some bits of shading now and again. Doesn't look like anything major of concern, at least in the build of the aircraft. The undercarriage looks a little complicated with these multiple linkages, and then at some point these multiple linkages have all got to fit into that sort of cavernous bit there, so that's going to be quite the challenge, I would imagine. Likewise, the end of, you remember I showed you this thing saying, oh, that's got to be really careful removing that. Well, these are going to be quite tricky to get onto the, so one of these that goes onto the wheel and the other goes onto the inside of the cover. That's going to be an interesting job to try and get that all together. It's not immediately obvious what they mean by that. Anyway, we'll see later what they did mean. Yeah, there it was. Very good. And then a couple of schemes. Oh, they actually give you the RLM codes here, 74, 75 and 76. And 81 and 82. And I'm guessing that's probably 76 as well underneath. Or if it's not, it's, I don't know, maybe 83 or 4 or something, the other pale blue. Anyway, so there's a couple of schemes there. As I say, it never actually entered service. So you could put any scheme on you like, realistically. But hey, there we go. That's the instructions then. There it is, a fascinating subject and something very close to my heart, as I really like these late war what-if subjects. If you've enjoyed the video, then please make sure you've subscribed to the channel. If you also hit the bell, you'll be notified of all my future content, including the build videos for this kit. And of course, anything you see on my channel that you like, please give it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button below there, because every like counts. Thank you so very much for watching today. Hope to see you again on the channel soon. Take good care now, and goodbye.